One bad review destroyed a business I know personally. And the thing was, it wasn't the negative review itself. It was the response from the owner, because they did what felt right in the moment, which was to respond how they really felt. But that response set off a chain reaction that no amount of 5-star reviews could come back from. The internet never forgets, and your response lives on forever. So today, I want to talk about exactly how to handle negative reviews and actually turn them into something positive for your business. Hey, I'm Abby Johnson with Matterhorn Business Development. I've worked with over 50 different industries to help business owners reclaim their time, increase their profit, and get out of the day-to-day of their business. Here's the reality of business. No matter how good your product is, no matter how hardworking your team is, no matter how many hours you put in, one day someone is going to leave you a negative review. And honestly, one bad review out of 100 5-star reviews is normal. People expect to see that, and it actually makes them believe those better good reviews more than if you had only 5-star reviews. The problem isn't the bad review itself. The problem is what happens after the review is made. But before we talk about the bad reviews, let's talk about the good ones, because those deserve responses too. Someone took the time out of their day to praise your business, to give you appreciation, and share their experience. This helps you get more business, and they deserve a response from you. This shows people that you care, you're paying attention, you're looking at the feedback that they're leaving. Now, you don't need to write a novel every time someone writes you a positive review, but a thank you, something warm and genuine, is always appreciated. On a more practical side of things, Google likes to see consistent activity on your Google listing. That comes from updating pictures and information, but it also comes from responding to reviews. So make sure from that practical standpoint, you are responding to good reviews as well as bad reviews. All right, so let's talk about the bad reviews. Now, when someone leaves a bad review, it's very easy to get defensive. Sometimes reviews are inaccurate, they didn't really happen, and I get it, it feels very personal. If someone leaves you a 1-star review, your business is your baby, it can feel unfair, especially if you feel like they are misconstruing what actually happened. But the thing is, your response is public. Your potential customers are reading those reviews and they're seeing how you respond. So it's very important when you respond that you're actually thinking of those potential customers when you are writing that response. If you start slinging mud, calling names, arguing in your responses and in your comments, this lowers your status, this lowers your reputation to those potential new customers. I was looking for a daycare for my newborn baby, so mom in a vulnerable position, my 3-month-old baby. I was very sensitive to where I was going to be sending him. There was a daycare that was 0.5 miles from me, so close, would be so convenient. And I was reading the reviews and there were only 1 or 2 bad reviews. But when I read the response from the owner, it was immediately a no for me. They were arguing with this person. They told the person to get a life. Allegedly, the review that the person left was not true and hadn't happened. And I understand that that's frustrating when that happens. But this person's critical response did not make me feel safe sending my baby there. It made the owner sound like a crazy person, and I did not want to entrust my newborn baby to a crazy person, right? So even if you aren't a daycare handling babies, people don't want to do business with crazy people. And most of the time when they see that negative review, they can usually tell that that other person is crazy or rambling or going off or calling bad names or something like that. Most people reading can tell the difference between your 95 positive reviews and your 5 negative ones. So really try not to get worked up and be courteous in your response to the negative review. So what should you actually say? Keep it short and sweet. We're sorry that this was your experience. This is not how we like to operate. Please reach out so we can make this right. Something of that sort. It shows an apology and that you are willing to take responsibility and make it right. And then when people reading these reviews see your response, they just see that you are a normal, calm person trying to make it right with someone who had a bad experience. The other thing I'll note is sometimes people will leave a review and you recognize that they were never a customer. I've also seen this mishandled where the owner has an attitude about it of, why did you leave a review? You've never been here, da 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 da, and some sort of angry response, when really you can just simply say, hey, blank, we don't have a record of you ever doing business with us. That's all you have to do. And then people reading it are like, okay, cool, so this is a spam review, or this is an untrue review, or whatever it may be. Quick pause. If you're watching this and realizing that negative reviews are costing you customers, then most likely you are facing a financial problem because of that. Down below, we've got our free cash map that you can download just a click away. This is going to help you find the profit leaks in your business and how to profitably manage your money starting right away. So click below and get our free cash map now. Okay, so now things get a little uncomfortable because what I also want you to do is I want you to look at this review and actually look for the validity in it. Yes, maybe this person is crazy, or maybe they are misconstruing how something happened. But this is where you as the owner need to take responsibility and find out what did actually happen. This is especially apparent if you are getting multiple bad reviews. Then you need to have a real talk with yourself that, hey, maybe there is something wrong on our side that we need to fix, especially if you are an employee heavy business or your employees are more on the front lines than you are. You want to make sure that something isn't happening with them during the customer experience that is creating these bad reviews. So typically when I see a bad review, I want to look at, did this actually happen? Let's talk to the employee or staff member involved and then see what we can implement to prevent this situation from happening again. Maybe someone ordered X and Y was actually delivered, and instead of being okay with the product being replaced and fixing the problem or mistake that was made, they just got really upset and left a bad review and took their business elsewhere. So that's fine, but how can we ensure that that sort of mistake doesn't happen again? Or we've all had those kind of customers where they're relaying something that simply did not happen, or it is being way dramatized and made way bigger than what actually happened. In those cases, instead of saying, okay, what procedure or process on our end do we need to change, I look at how do we prevent that sort of customer from coming to us again? How can we screen during our sales process so we don't get a customer who's going to react that way? The truth of the matter is everyone's going to have customers at some point that do that. Is a very small percentage of the population, but there are those people out there. But as much as possible, you can try to screen that out ahead of time. But it's up to you as the owner to see, was this really a customer problem or an us problem? And either way, what sort of process can we put in place to prevent this situation from happening again? Now, how can you turn this negative review into a positive review? Let's say they've left the negative review. You responded, hey, we're sorry this happened. Please reach out so we can make it right. And they do. Some people aren't going to reach out, but if they do and you make it right and they are happy in the end, you can ask them to update their review. You cannot bribe or pressure or pay them off or anything like that, but you can say, hey, now that we've made everything right, would you please mind going and updating your review for us? So not only have you turned that review around into a positive review, but you did the right thing and solved the problem and made everything right for the customer. The last category of reviews I want to talk about are just the completely belligerent reviews. Someone crazy typing in all caps, calling bad names, using cuss words, these sorts of reviews. These are the reviews that you can actually flag and report to Google or Yelp or whatever review platform you are on. Google has a part of this of their guidelines. Usually they will actually remove those types of reviews themselves just because they have robots in place to check for those things and probably flag cuss words. But if you specifically get a review like that, you should be able to click on the three dots next to it and report it as spam or as abuse or whatever the correct category is that it falls into. So the key things here are always respond to positive reviews, respond calmly and sanely to the negative reviews, report the super crazy belligerent reviews, and just keep your head down, keep growing your business, keep doing your thing, and try not to let bad reviews keep you up at night. Now, if you feel like your business is leaking money left and right, you've got profit on paper, but your bank account says you're broke, that's exactly what our cash map is for. Click the link below, get the free download, fill in your numbers, and it's going to show you exactly where your business is now and where it should be. I'll see you in the next video.